The movie is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, which was written and directed by John Hughes. The film follows Neil Page, a marketing executive who is easily irritated and can be somewhat of a control freak as he desperately tries to get home to Chicago to spend Thanksgiving with his wife and kids. After his flight's rerouted to Wichita, Kansas because of a freak snowstorm, his sanity begins to fray. And worse yet, he's forced to pair up with talkative and occasionally annoying Del Griffith. Together, they must overcome the insanity of holiday travel to make it home in time for Thanksgiving. In my opinion, this is the quintessential Thanksgiving movie. Well, actually, it's probably between this and Sam Raimi's Spider-Man.
I had to beat an old lady with a stick to get these cranberries.
But seriously, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is one of the few movies that's plot is actually centered around Thanksgiving, which is a uniquely American holiday. And I think it's one of the best movies that accurately captures what it feels like dealing with the aggravations of traveling within the US, especially during the holidays. Dealing with airlines, the gate agents, rental car agencies, bizarre cab or Uber drivers, weather delays, low-speed trains, loud, crowded buses, shitty motels, and everything else that comes along with traveling across America. One of my favorite aspects of this movie that I think sets it apart from the typical buddy comedy is the strength of all the actors in bit parts. Like, this movie has a mountain of these characters, and they're all so funny in their own way. It perfectly captures just how insane it can sometimes feel to encounter these types of people while you're traveling. There's Neil's boss, who holds them late on Tuesday only to regroup after Thanksgiving. There's the attorney who extorts Neil for the rush hour cab. The rude flight attendant, the guy sleeping slash coughing on you during the flight. The pickup truck driver with a mouthful of tobacco, and of course the overly cheery rental car agent after a long and horrible day. They add so much color and richness to the movie in a way that allows you to relate to Neil's experience so easily, because we've all dealt with some variation of all of these people during our own travels. The list of these characters in the movie goes on and on and on, and they're all amazing. And also, because they're mostly lesser known actors, they also feel a lot more real. If this were made today, I can pretty much guarantee it would be a massive ensemble cast of A-list actors, which, of course, can still be funny, but it would definitely feel less authentic than this. And of course, it goes without saying, but the chemistry between the legendary John Candy and Steve Martin is phenomenal, and it's another reason this movie is so fantastic. Steve Martin's Neil Page plays the perfect comedic straight man to John Candy's cheery, eclectic, and happy-go-lucky Del Griffith. The two are just so hilarious as an odd couple, with each occasionally swapping roles with the other, where Del Griffith will do something so ridiculous and outrageous that it makes Neil Page go absolutely berserk, which turns their dynamic completely upside down. I also really love the way that they weave in that heartfelt backstory of Del Griffith, which makes the movie hit so much deeper emotionally. I feel like oftentimes those types of things are really just kind of shoehorned into films, and they end up feeling out of place and random and inauthentic. But John Candy's portrayal of Del Griffith really sold that he was this guy who, on the outside, was incredibly positive and upbeat, but was more complicated than that, with this enduring pain that he kind of kept hidden from everybody. And while the movie is very grounded in reality, making light of the things that we frequently deal with, it's also consistently extremely silly, which I absolutely love. Like adding the skeleton and devil effects to the highway scene, or Del and Neil being frozen completely solid like Jack Nicholson in The Shining after their frigid ride in the back of a pickup truck makes me laugh every time. This is easily one of my favorite comedies, and one that I try to rewatch every year around this time because of the hysterical interactions with strangers and travel experiences the film imagines, the extremely funny and legendary pairing of Steve Martin and John Candy, and the emotional strings the film pulls that make you feel thankful and appreciative for the positives in your life. So go watch Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel, please like the video, and add a comment letting me know what you thought of this movie or what movie you think I should review next. I put out a movie review each week, so subscribe to stay tuned. Thanks, y'all.